To build your Cat 5 LAN cable, you're going to need some cable. It's got a nice short, maybe 1.5 long length, just for to show you how to do it. You need 2 crimp-on connectors. You can buy these at your local stores. A nice little pair of cutters, just for basically cutting the wire, not much. And a good pair of cable crimps. There, puts all aside right now. Alright, first up, we're going to need to cut back our cable shield. This pair, yours may or may not have it. This pair has a cutting side and a stripping side on it. So we can put our cable in. We're gonna make a cable kind of long at first, just so it makes it nice and easy to use. So we cut down and close a little bit, turn our cable, and unshield it. Inside most, not all, but you're gonna find this little nylon. It's called a wick. All that does is just pretty much, it's a moisture wick. It just draws the moisture away from the cables and stuff. So if there is moisture somewhere, it'll draw it down and not affect the components. Inside each cable, you'll see 4 twisted pair. This is where the UTP in the cable comes from. Unshielded twisted pair, UTP. Yeah, green, brown, orange, and blue. Now each pair, there's a solid and then there's a stripe, kind of like in billiards or pool. You know what, go ahead and untwist each pair. That'd be a pain in the butt. Now, alright, we got them all cut out already. We're going to go ahead and cut out this wick since we're not going to need it. Throw the wick to the side. Alright, so now we got all of our twisted pairs are separated. So we have 8 individual wires. Now what we're going to do is we're going to build this to a TIA EIA 568B standard. Now, these are the standards you'll see. Every cable that you end up buying in the store is most likely going to be this. There's also a 568 Alpha or A. Now, most times you're not going to see those, and you'll end up if you want a crossover cable, one which you can connect computer to computer, or for some devices require crossover where you get the transmit on two wires and the receive on the other 2 that they cross over. If you need that, then I'll show you how to build those as well. It's basically simple. It's just the green and the orange are the only 2 that will end up getting reversed. The blue and brown stay exactly where they are. Okay, so now that we got that done, we're gonna put our wires in the correct order. Now the correct order for our 568B is we're going to go with white orange, then white green, then blue, then white blue, where'd it go? Yeah, it is. Then green, white brown, and then brown. Kind of like when you're racking up pool balls, if you got 2 stripes or 2 solids next to each other, you did something wrong. They're all going to be stripe, solid configuration. And what we're going to do is, if you cut these to length that you're going to use to begin with, then it's really hard to straighten them out. That's why we cut them. That's why I cut them a little longer. Right now, I cut it off about 2.5 inches or so. And we want to make sure our cables stay in the exact positions that we want them in. Now that we got our cables nice and straightened out, nice and long, we can see exactly how much we need and how much we need to cut back. Normally you only need about 3/4 of an inch or so of cable to show, because when our cable crimps, as our cable crimps, you'll see these little metal bands, these little metal connectors, they got those little spikes on it, will be forced down onto the cable, penetrating the shield and going into the copper. Also, back here, there's a tab that gets pushed down as well, which ends up grabbing the skin of the cable. So we want to make sure that you don't want to cut back too far, you don't want to keep it too long. So you want to line it up to where roughly how much you need to cut, and like I said, it's roughly about 3/4 of an inch. Now we got our spot. We'll get our wire cutters. Okay, now we got our wires cut off. Verify our order once again. White, orange, orange, white, green, blue, white, blue, green, white, brown, and brown. So we want to try to keep these as even as possible, just because when they get plugged in, you know, make sure all 8 of them want to touch the stops, or the back cell. So the way we want to do this is, there's a tab slide that's going to be on the bottom, so we can see everything from the top. Slide right into the hole there. As you can see, they're going to go in the channels all by themselves, almost like magic. Then they're going to push all the way back. You want to verify that see, if they're pulled back a little bit like this, if not all of them are there, then when the pin goes down, it's not going to seat, it's not going to go onto the copper, you're not going to get a good connection. So it's very important that all 8 are pushed all the way back. And you can try to look from the top, look from the front, make sure you got all 8 of them touching. And it's a good idea to take one last gaze to make sure that your order didn't change when it was inserted. White, orange, orange, white, green, blue, white, blue, green, white, brown, and brown. That's the way we like it. Alright. Now it's time to plug in. We're going to push it in, push it all the way. Like I said, this is a very important part, because if this gets loose, this comes pulled back a little bit. You're not going to get a good connection. So make sure you push forward into it, squeeze, you hear the clicking. Give a nice good hard squeeze. Make sure all are down. And we're taking a look. Make sure all of our connectors are forward. As you can see, they all got pushed down, and as well, this is going to hold on to the cable. This little clipper rat pushed down. So everything looks good for there. We're going to do the other side real fast. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to rate, comment, subscribe whether you hated the video or liked it. Either way, leave your comments, leave your feedback. Always appreciate it. Thanks again.